in my head, it is about actually how we do business better, how we do business better for the planet, how we do business better for our people, how we do business better for the communities and the world that we impact through yachting. I always say the first step is actually find what you care about, because once you realize you care about it, you will do something about preserving it.
Here we are, Monaco Yacht Show. I'm so delighted to meet a partner from Burgess, Georgina, to talk everything about sustainability. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, so great.
Monaco.
Sustainability, what does that mean? Because in so many different industries and things, it means lots of different things.
I am not actually a big fan of the word sustainability.
So what shall I use?
No,
mindful.
Okay. I think you've got to use the word because it's actually the word that everyone now understands or uses. And for sure, it's a big buzzword. It was one of the biggest topics of the show last year. It's bigger this year. It's almost becoming part of the business. But actually, what does it mean? What is it about? In my head, in our heads, it is about actually how we do business better, how we do business better for the planet, how we do business better for our people, how we do business better for the communities and the world that we impact through yachting. And a big part of that, in fact, the first part of that is just owning that conversation, because we have to be upfront about the impact to our industry. And once we own that, then we can do something about it. And increasing numbers of people are actually starting to do things about it.
But so many normal people don't understand, don't appreciate, and say, oh, the super rich are doing this and all the damage they're doing to the planet. And a lot of younger people don't understand all the positive things that is going on.
It's true. Well, the bottom line is a lot of people who work in this industry are working in this industry because they love going to sea. If you love going to sea, then you care about the sea and you care about the ocean. So on the one hand, actually, this industry is run and works for and works with people who fundamentally care about the oceans. And I would say the first step is actually find what you care about, because once you realize you care about it, you will do something about preserving it. So that exists as a sort of a base layer, but sometimes
it needs to be seen
in an industry like this, we actually have to just make people realize that's what they care about.
I think for me, in the modern world that I'm seeing, and it's more about people want to hear from people.
Yeah.
Normal people in the street want to attach and relate to a human rather than a company and a corporate.
100%. It's about human connection. And even within our own company, it's about me talking to each of my colleagues on an individual basis, as opposed to standing up each day at the yacht show or sending emails out. You never get the same traction. You never get the same engagement, because actually we are all so busy in our lives the whole time. Everyone, you walk around the show and it's emails or it's messages or it's connections, it's trying to meet up with people, and then everyone else is scrolling through Instagram and scrolling through social media. And how do you actually make them stop the scrolling and pay attention and sit up and listen?
Make a difference. I think for me, the words that I want to see more of is kind of just how to make a difference and how to be better tomorrow. So maybe it's, the recyclable bottles as an example. These are great, recycled PET plastic, fine, and the water's being given. But how many of these are going to be left over, but it's plastic and it's not glass? I mean, let's talk about this.
You don't want to know how many they gave out last year. But actually, I've said to them, why don't you get everyone to tap a card or tap their phone and pay €2 or €3 for the bottle, which everyone will, and say you're giving 100% of that to ocean conservation projects, real ocean conservation projects that are making a difference now.
I think if you buy something, you own it.
Yeah. If you're forced to if you've got skin in the game, you will do something about it. You will keep hold of it. I've got a cupboard full of them because I went around last year collecting them.
But as long as you get them and you're using them, that's fine. But
exactly.
But it's like how to make a difference. So let's say a super yacht, you're chartering something, call it, I don't know, 100,000 a week for a charter. As a paying customer, there will be a lot of people that want to know, okay, how am I making a difference by using this super yacht than that? Because some must be greener than others, surely, or not really, or
a lot of it's driven by crew and some of it's driven by owners. But
is it marketed that way? I mean, could I only want to charter a yacht that's super green?
Well, you can look for a yacht now that runs on HVO. And HVO, so
what's
sustainable
HVO?
fuel, biofuel.
Okay, biofuel.
And not just saying they're running on a biofuel, but making sure they're running on a biofuel where they can track their whole supply chain and know it's coming from a sustainable source.
Because I think for me, and I think the audience, and they can comment, and I think for me, being in the audience and not being super knowledgeable about yachting, wanting to know that this super yacht is on the right fuel and we recycle as much as we possibly can. And when you go to the extremes of buying organic, etc., I don't know. Again, I'm not extreme, but I'd like to think that if I'm spending 100,000, that I'm doing it in a good way that doesn't harm the planet deliberately, I would probably feel.
I think you'd like to know you're just doing it better.
Yeah.
And let's make no mistake about it, this industry does not have all the answers, but the industry is full of people actually now who are trying to do things better. And we've got some big things we've got to tackle, and we've got lots of small things that we can do right now. So if you're talking about the boat that you're chartering on, you can be cruising at an economical cruising speed, so you're burning less fuel, irrespective of where that fuel has come from.
Yeah.
You could be cruising on a yacht that is hybrid electric. So again, you're not simply burning fuel, but you're also running off batteries. 2/3 of a yacht's sort of burn goes into the hotel load. So you can be making sure that the air conditioning isn't quite as cold and the heating isn't quite as warm, and bring those two back to a more natural equilibrium.
So
a lot of stuff is already regulated for how you deal with your waste, how you deal with recycling. There is a lot of regulation already in place around how a yacht operates. It is not fair to say that they are just out there polluting the ocean, because they are tightly regulated already, but more regulation can and will come in.
But I didn't know that. And I'm sure so many people that are listening to this interview probably weren't aware that there are lots of regulations around pollution already.
But the entire global
industry.
shipping fleet is subject to regulations, but there is so much more than we could that we can do, and actually that we have to. So actually, even talking about sort of philanthropy and owners and businesses and clients giving back to ocean conservation projects is fantastic, but it's still not enough. So we run a program at Burgess where for every piece of business that we do, we contribute to ocean conservation in the Greek islands with Blue Marine Foundation. So real scientists, real experts doing the real work on the ground. We've teamed up with them and we've said, what projects do you need funding for? And they are working on a phenomenal project in the Greek islands, trying to create marine protected areas. And we are helping them map the seabed and protect the seagrass meadows round an island, which will help save thousands and thousands of species. It will help the return of fish stocks. And in tandem, they are also working with the local fishing community to develop a sustainable model of fishing, which, if we get it all right, and if all these elements come together, this is a model that can be replicated in other parts of the Mediterranean. So this is working on a project now that could go further afield as well. We actually need to be investing positively in nature and biodiversity for the future. So not just conserving and saving, but investing for growth. And I know it's a business terminology, but we need to help biodiversity and nature recover and return. And we need nature positive investing for that.
Wow.
So it's big stuff, but actually I hope some of this will actually appeal to the people who own and run these yachts, because it is all, it is business terminology.
But how much money do we need? Because it all starts with money, surely.
This is the
aviation,
big COP programs. This is governmental level. This is a global crisis that needs a global solution, and it needs private business and it needs governments all working together to make it.
I think every single human being, if every single person could make a 1% difference in their daily life, that would add up to enormous change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single person.
It's, in many respects, it's about talking or starting with the small stuff. It's small things that pack a mighty punch. So we have taken a group of sort of products and producers that we've teamed up with round the show to visit all the Burgess yachts in the show, and actually given them a pack of products to say thank you for being in the show with us. But we hope these might help you make a difference on board. And generally it is a cost saving, and it is a saving on emissions. So the small things, a sunscreen that is reef safe and marine safe as per the Hawaii Reef Act 104, cleaning products that are certified organic and have no harmful impact on the ocean when they wash over the side, and no harmful impact on the crew who are using them, because a lot of chemicals every day, and let's face it, there's a lot of cleaning going on all of these.
There was an unbelievable app called Yucca, Y-U-K-A, that my 13-year-old daughter gave to me. And you can scan every single product.
I've heard about this.
And it's got all the additives and all the pollution. And with this app called Yucca, there's so many things that are included, all the pollutants that are there that do so much harm to both us and the environment that we're not even aware about. I mean, you talk about a packet of crisps. I think they rate out of like Porsche being 3 out of 100 for the additives. There was a good friend of mine whose boss owns a super yacht, and her son had eczema, and he's been applying this cream for years and years and years, and it's been harmful to him. So when she used the app, she scanned the creams that the doctor had given him that were supposedly making a difference, but actually making him worse. So he stopped using what he was told to use, used products that were helpful to him and 100% clean, and he's fine, natural.
And actually, that's the same with the sunscreen. You know, if it's not good for our oceans, it's definitely not good for our skin. So we've spent years working with someone trying to find one that is compliant, and it also complies with the right regulations, because let's face it, we're not biochemists, we don't know. Something we can rub on our skin knowing it's 100% natural. But then also, when you talk about yachting, it's supplied in bulk on board, which reduces the amount of plastic, but then in aluminium refillable and reusable, endlessly reusable containers that also, well, firstly look good on board, but also aren't creating a plastic waste problem. So it's these little 1% changes. And similarly, we've teamed up with another company that produced biologically preserved flowers. We've just run a podcast with them, and I know everyone's doing podcasts, and that's not the cool thing to do anymore, but it's about just gaining traction. And these flowers will last a season on board. They will save a yacht's floristry bill. It will cut it by 50 to 75%, but it will also save its emissions by carbon emissions by 90% on floristry, which seems, again, I mean, I'm a partner of Burgess and I'm talking about floristry, but because all these little changes matter. They showed me the stats and it's true. So when you then start talking about shipping flowers around the world and trying to find an easier way of doing it, having to go ashore to collect them from a florist on an island that you don't know, how long are they going to last? They're not going to last. They're going to be taking up cold storage space on a yacht that's not needed. They're going to be using water. They're going to be using time to keep changing them, to keep throwing out the ones that are gone and trying to keep them looking good. And these ones just last at least a season. In a house, they last a year. It makes a difference. And all those little 1% changes, they're not on their own going to save the planet, but it's a start. And it's about just normalizing all these things so that then we can tackle the big issues together. Because frankly, we on our own aren't going to tackle the big issues. We are not on our own going to find the solution to how you deal with repulsion in a more or in a lower impact way. We are not going to tackle emissions on our own. But if all the industry comes together and works for it along with shipping, then collectively we will get somewhere. And you know, the yards are doing it. The yards are building better boats. The yards are building hulls that are more efficient, hybrid electric models, HVO. It is all coming online, but it's going to take time. And we need people to invest in the R&D and to try these things and keep trying them and keep pushing the boundaries and keep testing until we get it right. And we will. The industry has phenomenal potential and capability, fund R&D, and we work with people whose minds are interested. They want to find solutions. That is why they are in a position of being able to charter a yacht or own a yacht. They have curious minds and they find solutions to things, and together we can, but we've got to bring it all together now. Time is running out.
That's fantastic.
And we've got one planet, we've got one ocean. It's always, you know, hashtags and strap lines that we hear about all the time, but it's real. We need healthy oceans for a healthy planet, and we need a healthy planet for a future. And this isn't just about an industry that needs to survive and sustain. This is about all of our futures. And that's why I sort of get wound up about it, and I can't get the words out, and I wave my hands. And there are loads of people doing really good things. And actually, we were saying this morning, all the conservationists are happy to have the conversations and talk together. And all these people producing different products are happy to be connected and work together because they get it. And we just need to get all these companies, the brokers, the management companies, the yards, all pulling in the same direction too. The Water Revolution Foundation is working hard to do that. And they are bringing different stakeholders together, trying to find these solutions. How do you run a better yacht? How do you build a better yacht? How do you refit for the future? How do you future-proof those vessels that are 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old? How do you future-proof them for the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 30 years? There are people working on it very seriously now and committed 100% all of their time to it, but we still need more.
Amazing. Wow. That's absolutely incredible. I can't even begin to know where to start, what to say, other than...
Start small. Start small. You've got to start with the small stuff and then you grow. Sorry.
No, not at all. And I think for me, it's making that 1% difference every single day. Having a list of all those products that you might use at home and also on the sea or on your private jets or wherever you may be in your life, a 1% change across 10 daily products that you use will begin to make a start. So Georgina, all I can say is thank you so much. I've just sat and listened to you. It's incredible. The passion and knowledge and insight that for me has got me thinking about things that I haven't even thought about, which I need to probably do later and start making more of a difference.
I think it's really easy to sit on the sidelines and criticize. And, this industry isn't going to go away. These yachts are big. These vessels are big. They are big operations with lots of people working on board. But if we're in this industry, we can do something about it. Sit on the sidelines, criticize, and people do, obviously, but we've got to keep pushing forward. And it's down to all of us, inside and outside, to keep trying to make those changes, big and small. We start small, go big, start big, go down.
Whatever.
Top
it's
down,
true.
bottom up.
Yeah. But fantastic. So thank you so much to Georgina. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you have ideas and suggestions, please comment below. All comments can be directed to Georgina. I'm very happy to introduce you. Her contact details will be below. Questions, share information. If you want to reach out, if you have surplus cash, you want to make donations to some of the projects, we'll share that information in the comments for you. Thank you so much to Georgina, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for having me.